You check your bank account at 11 p.m. Not because you need to, because something in you needed to check. And there it is, the number that doesn't match the life you thought you were building. Rent's paid, bills are paid. You didn't even do anything reckless this month. No big purchase you can point to and say, that's the problem. Just 100 small yeses. 100 moments that felt like nothing. Here's what nobody tells you. You didn't get careless with money. You got targeted. And the targeting didn't come from a used car salesman or a shady loan office. It came from your own phone. From people who look like you, live like you, laugh like you, and are, whether they know it or not, quietly training your brain to spend. This isn't a video about budgeting apps or coupon codes. This is about something most people never even notice is happening to them. A slow, invisible rewiring of how you see money, worth, and normal life. And by the end of this, you're going to look at your own spending completely differently. Because the truth is uncomfortable. The version of normal you're chasing was never actually normal. It was manufactured. And you've been paying, literally, to keep up with it. So let's start with the part nobody wants to admit. The life you're comparing yourself to doesn't exist. Somewhere right now, someone your age is standing in a kitchen that looks like it belongs in a design magazine, holding a coffee that costs more than your lunch, wearing an outfit that costs more than your grocery bill, about to get in a car you're still paying off in your head. And you compare your actual, real, lived-in life, the one with the cracked phone screen and the "I'll deal with that later" pile of mail, to that 15-second clip, not to their whole life, not to their debt, their sponsorships, their second job, their parents' help, their credit card balance you'll never see. Just the 15 seconds they chose to show you. Here's the scary part. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a stranger's highlight reel and your own real memories. Neurologically, repeated exposure to an image starts to feel like familiarity, and familiarity starts to feel like normal. So after the 200th version of that kitchen, that coffee, that car, your brain quietly updates its definition of a normal life. Except it's not normal. It's the top 1% of moments, cut out of 100% of someone's life, and handed to you as if it were the whole picture. You're not comparing yourself to reality. You're comparing yourself to a highlight reel of a highlight reel. And you're losing, because it was never a fair fight. But nobody talks about this next part. Money doesn't feel real anymore, and that's the point. Think about the last time you actually held cash and had to hand it over for something. Feel any different than tapping a card? Of course it did. Handing over a physical $20 bill triggers something in your brain that a tap does not. A small flash of loss, of "this is leaving me." It's called the pain of paying. And it's not poetic language, it's a documented psychological effect. Physical cash creates real, measurable discomfort at the moment of spending. Now take that pain away completely. No cash, no swipe you can feel, just a tap, a face scan, a fingerprint. The transaction takes less than 2 seconds, and so does the guilt. That's not an accident of convenience. It's the entire architecture of modern spending, built specifically to remove friction, because friction is the only thing standing between an impulse and a purchase. Every checkout button that says "Buy Now," every saved card, every one-click order, every "Pay in 4 easy installments," all of it exists to shrink the gap between wanting and having, because that gap is where second thoughts live. Social media didn't invent this, but it perfected the setup. It shows you the want, then it hands you a frictionless path straight to the purchase before the feeling even has time to fade. Here's where things get dangerous. You're not buying products. You're buying a version of yourself. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you bought something purely because you needed it? Not because it made you feel a certain way, not because it matched an identity you're quietly building in your head, just needed it. Harder to answer than you expected, right? That's because most modern spending isn't about function anymore. It's about identity signaling. The candle isn't just a candle, it's the kind of person who has good taste. The gym membership isn't just fitness, it's the kind of person who has their life together. The trip isn't just a trip, it's proof, posted for an audience, that your life is moving somewhere. And social media didn't create this instinct. Humans have always used possessions to signal status. What social media did was give everyone an audience. For most of human history, you only had to keep up with the neighbors you could actually see. Now, you're keeping up with a curated feed of thousands of people, all subtly performing success at the same time, all watching each other do it. It's an arms race with no finish line, because everyone in it is bluffing a little, and everyone knows it, but nobody says it out loud. So you buy the version of yourself you wish the algorithm would show. And slowly, the purchases stop being about your life. They start being about your image of your life. Two very different bank accounts. And this is where most people make a huge mistake. They think the problem is discipline. It's not. You've probably told yourself, I just need more willpower. I need to stop scrolling. I need to be stronger about it. But that's like blaming yourself for losing a chess game against an opponent who can see the whole board, has studied your exact weaknesses, and has been playing this game against millions of people just like you for over a decade. The algorithms behind your feed are not neutral. They are optimized, tested, and refined specifically to hold your attention and shape your desire. Because the longer you stay and the more you want, the more valuable you become to the platform and to everyone paying to be seen on it. You are not failing a willpower test. You are losing to a system engineered by people whose literal job is to make you want things you didn't know you wanted 10 minutes ago. That's not a character flaw. That's math and psychology and billions of dollars of incentive, all aimed directly at your nervous system. But modern life made this even worse. The squeeze nobody's talking about. Here's the part that makes all of this so much crueler than it used to be. Wages, for a huge number of people, have not kept pace with the cost of an actual life. Housing, groceries, healthcare, education. The gap between what people earn and what a stable life costs has been widening for years. So you're not just being shown an unrealistic lifestyle, you're being shown it at the exact moment you have less real purchasing power to chase it with. That's the trap closing from both sides. Less money in your pocket, more pressure on your screen. And to close that gap, an entire industry appeared almost overnight. Buy now, pay later. 4 easy payments, no interest, they say, as long as you don't miss one. It sounds like a solution. It's actually a release valve, built specifically to let you keep spending like the pressure isn't real, even when it very much is. So you end up with people earning solid, respectable incomes who still feel like they're drowning. Not because they're bad with money, because they're being sold a lifestyle their income was never built to support, using tools specifically designed to hide that mismatch from them until the bill comes due. What happens next changes everything. Here's the perspective shift. Once you actually see this, really see it, you can't unsee it. That normal life you've been quietly measuring yourself against, it was never a baseline. It was a marketing outcome, a byproduct of an entire economy built around getting your attention and turning it into spending. And here's the strange relief hidden inside that realization. If the standard you've been failing to meet was never real in the first place, then you were never actually behind. You were competing against a mirage. Nobody wins that race because the finish line moves every time someone posts something new. This doesn't mean guilt trip yourself into never enjoying anything again. It means something much simpler and much more powerful. Start asking one question before you buy anything. Do I want this, or do I want what I think it will make people think about me? That single question, asked honestly, will quietly change more of your financial life than any spreadsheet ever will. Because the goal was never to make you spend nothing. The goal is to make sure that when you do spend, it's actually yours, your choice, your values, your life, and not a purchase made on behalf of an audience, half of whom will forget they even saw it by tomorrow. The real ending. You were never bad with money. You were never undisciplined or behind or failing some test everyone else seems to be passing. You were living inside a system that was never designed for your well-being. It was designed for your attention. And your attention was always going to lead somewhere: your wallet. The people who figure this out, really figure it out, stop trying to win a game that was rigged from the start. They stop performing a life for people who were never really watching that closely anyway. And in that quiet, unglamorous shift, something strange happens. The anxiety starts to loosen. Not because the bank balance changed overnight, but because the person checking it finally understands exactly what they were up against. So the next time you feel that pull, that itch to buy the thing, book the trip, order the upgrade, pause for 1 second and ask who that decision is actually for. Because the most expensive thing you'll ever buy in your life isn't a house or a car or a vacation. It's a version of yourself that was never yours to begin with.